What is happening, people? I hope we're all doing well. It's been a while since I've been on here. I was sick last week, but we are back. So make sure you guys subscribe. Lots of educational stuff coming as of January 1st. So make sure you subscribed. Like the video as always, and then comment down below as well if there's any educational stuff you want to see particularly. So a lot of you guys have gone through and kind of walk through things like 1 minute entries, how do I read structure, and so on and so forth. So I've got those videos in the background doing their thing. Now, as for last week, I was sick last week, so I didn't do any market update videos or anything. But I ended up 12% up for the week. So I had this one here, which was a 1 to 9. I took full at 1 to 9 and 50% at 1 to 3. I had this one, which I took 1 to 3 at, which was a sell here. And then there was a buy in here I took a 1 to 3 as well. So it was all up, it was about 12.5% total. So last week was a really good week. No losses. There was 2 break evens, but I've already journaled them and moved them. But great week last week. And a lot of the team caught them as well. So yeah, a lot of people in the Discord had a good week as well. So let's jump in and let's have a look at what we're looking at on the 4 hour. Let's remove our drawings so that I can't see them on this higher time frame. And let's jump into what we're kind of looking for. So now, understanding where we are in the year, this week will be my last week trading. I would say by about Wednesday, I'm done entirely. What's it today? Yeah, the 15th. And I would say it's done as of today. But I'll obviously do an update this week, just like usual. Next week, I'll have off. I'll do a lot of back testing and things with the group. So if you guys want me to do that in terms of videos of like uploading those videos, let me know. And then the following week, educational content, trade breakdowns that I've got ready to go. So all the trades last week will be broken down and uploaded and ready to go there as well. So let's get into it. So 4 hour on GU, we are now in the extreme area that I was looking for on the 4 hour. So now I'm expecting a bit of a sell off. Okay. Now if we jump down on the 15 minute, we have started to create some structure. My external structure is still this low to this high, as indicated by those little blue dots. We have got this range here with the decision we've already reacted out of. What I'd be looking for coming into today, really just quite simple. Like I said, I want to sell off. That's my aim. Is I'm just looking for the take of this high. Okay, just that. Once I get that, happy to go. Don't think this area will hold. It's kind of served its purpose as a liquidity area now. So I'm looking for is that manipulation there. So all I'm looking for coming into London today, we've got half an hour until London Open, is just making its way up to here and then selling from there. Really straightforward and simple. And once that happens, we can kind of go from there. So very straightforward and simple on GU. In terms of Euro USD today on the 4 hour, as you can see, we've made our way up. What I will do is what I did on GU. Remove that so we can just see what we're looking at. Now, coming into the end of last week, we did actually react off of this point, so I will leave that on a higher time frame. So that is my current 4 hour. We've now taken the external, so we are now bullish. So I'm not interested in any of this garbage the other side now. That was my range. We can just have this as a line now. A good thing to do is make sure you're always updating your charts with what you need, and really keeping the information on there that you need on there. Okay, so this itself can be removed. That was my internal break, which we've reacted from. That's my new range. So that's my internal 4 hour. That's my external 4 hour, which can be indicated by that. In terms of what broke through this high, we've got this decisional that sits internally in here. I'm looking to sell down to that. So this break of structure really has indicated that we are moving to the upside. Now this is just a higher high, so I'm not actually interested in doing anything with this. It didn't really break internal or do anything that I'm considered important in this area. Yes, we did more or less break internal structure, pull down and do what we needed to do, but we're more or less heading to this high. So I would say we're going to continue bullish and come and take this high and continue with that high time frame momentum there. So on the 4 hour, looking to get that bit of a sell-off now that lines up with GU. If we go in and we have a look, that is my external 15-minute range. I may actually pull that in a little bit, I think, given that this is the decisional of my internal break. What I might actually do is have that as my external range, or at least this is the area I'm interested in price coming towards, which is here. So Once I get there, I'll kind of work out what 15-minute range I want. But for now, happy to use this bigger range and we will go from there. So with this bigger range, there was a sell on EU last week as well. It's not going to let me remove it. It's been a dick. No, it's not going to let me. How annoying. I want it gone. We had that move up there. That's money range. That's where we're selling down to, I believe. In terms of structure, what we've created, we've got an internal break and retest, which is really, really clean here. We've then come up and started to take that and push to the downside. So that's more or less a mitigation into that area as well. So I believe we don't need to come up any higher. What I'd be looking for is EU just to kind of top itself off and kind of just sell slowly. So there's nothing on EU for me today. I do want to, like I said, sell this way. I just don't think there's any option to kind of get in this. I don't like this internal structure, so nothing for me. So we'll mark GU. That's what we're looking at today. EU, I'm not interested. USDCAD, we're at the bottom of the range, and the 15-minute range is probably still nothing. Yep. No updates on the 4-hour on USDCAD either. I'm going to leave that. AU, we've now completed that new bullish leg with our daily leg. So this is our current range and where we're heading. So we just want to continue with that. So I can remove, what I'll do is I will just make sure I've got all these things selected. They need to be gone. Like I said, you guys should always be updating your charts. So on every time frame, you're able to get the information that you need. So I will be pulling that back like that. And that's our new current range. So we have broken structure and we've continued to push. We are in this extreme of this daily range that did create a move. It should not hold. I'm not interested in long-term selling. Let's have a look what we're working with. We've got this external range on the 15 minutes. Like I said, that was that bigger break of that 4-hour here. So the decisional of that was more or less this area down here. I don't actually see any of this as really important. So I think what will happen is if we start selling off, we're coming here. Okay, we're coming to take this low. I'm not going to go too in depth on my 15-minute ranges just yet with AU, but when we confirm that selling, that's where we're coming to. So we've had that internal break into the mitigation. We have now not broken a high. We've come up to that extreme area. We have now reacted off that extreme area, pushed back down. This point should not hold. We've now pushed back up into this area. We've created really, really nice like internal break and retest sitting at this high, which is more or less indicated by that. So what I'd be looking for on this pair is something like that down to this level that I said we should more or less come towards. And that's what I'd be looking at. Okay, now, will that happen? Well, I will obviously see. That's more or less the internal break here. That's the internal break following that there. So we've got internal range, into extreme, internal range, come into extreme, and continue with that selling momentum. That's what I'm looking at today on AU, coming down to that low. I actually like AU a lot, so I'm going to mark that out like that. That's what I'm looking for. 4-hour on gold, we've continued to push higher, which is fine. I think we're coming up more or less to this small area up the top. And until we kind of get something off of that, there's nothing we can do. So gold's off limits. Now, in terms of the DXY, it does look like we're coming lower on the DXY, but we are in that like external leg now. So we've got break. That was the low that led to the high. So we're now in the extreme of that break. We did have that. That did come. Yeah, see, that did come into the area. It didn't come into the decisional. I think that's more or less the decisional. So I still would have this as my range, as my bigger range. So I think now we're due for that retracement. Okay, so this is, we should come up to more or less take this high, I believe, on the DXY now anyway. On the 15-minute, we've obviously started some bullish ranges here. Not a lot to actually go off of internally in that yet, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's what I'd more or less be looking at, is starting that bit of a retracement from this external leg. Given we didn't have a big retracement here that holds too much weight and take liquidity, I would still have this as my range. So we're just in that extreme. We want that retracement, which lines up with every other pair that we're looking at now. We want that retracement, at least down to those lower points. So there is a little bit that we can look at today, especially on GU. GU and AU have really, really good ideas for them. Do I think it'll happen? No. I believe it's going to be a slow day. Monday, no news. December 15th is where price normally dies off. So make sure once price dies off, you kind of keep in the same routine, back test. I'll be back testing with the group, going live, going through some masterclass stuff for them, just walking through some educational content. until price kind of picks itself back up, and then we go from there. So any questions, drop them below. Anything you want to know, ideas for educational videos of certain things you guys want to look at, like I said, let me know down below. Let's have a good week. Let's finish off the year strong. Stay tuned for the breakdown of those trades from last week. Very, 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 very strong trades, A+ entries. Still learn a lot from them. So let's have a good week, and let's go from there.